Hello everyone, my name is Lalo Barajas, and I lived on Hot Springs Road with my partner Peter Fleury for 17 years, and it was that night that everything changed in my life. So I want to start by thanking you all for being here and allowing me to speak. I think I need this light too. About my story and more importantly the healing that came from that tragic event. I wanted to give thanks to friends, family, and my partner Ruben Pedregon. Also, a very special thank you to Montecito Fire, the Bucket Brigade, the first responders, and everyone in this community who has helped me and many others on this journey of healing. I want to briefly go back to the day of the event 8 years ago. Strangely, I still wake up more times than not at 3 a.m. as I did this morning. Many of us, after being rescued, were taken to All Saints by the Sea, where I found refuge until we could leave. We were told there was no way in and there was no way out. Hours later, when they cleared the way out, I remember them telling me that it was time to go. And I responded, I wasn't ready to leave. I was so sure that Peter would be found that I wanted to wait for him to arrive so that we could leave together. They finally convinced me to leave, so I did so reluctantly. From there, we were taken to the Vaughn's parking lot and bused away to City College. Upon leaving Vaughn's, we drove past the bird refuge. You couldn't help but notice it was a beautiful day. People were out and about, riding bikes, walking, rollerblading, just another beautiful day in paradise. This image was a stark contrast to the way my day unfolded. And then I heard a soft whisper that gave me the chill down my spine, as if someone, maybe Peter, was calling me. I had thought maybe he was on the same bus and I just didn't see him. So I quickly looked over my shoulder looking for Peter. But instead I saw a double rainbow. The most beautiful rainbow I had ever seen. Maybe Peter was not there, but I believe he must have sent me that rainbow so I could see that his spirit was free. I have not seen a rainbow that beautiful before or since. I believe it was so beautiful because it was a container for all the 23 souls who lost their lives that morning. I couldn't process it or see it in the moment because I still believe Peter was alive, just not found yet. Over time, I came to view this as the beginning of my ongoing journey to recovery, and I came to understand that all these things I had witnessed, the sorrow, the pain, the beauty, the love, can coexist together. We can hold the pain and grief and also hold the beauty and love and honor all of these things. The vision of that rainbow became my beacon of hope and my reason to live again, to restart my life and create something out of nothing. To know Peter was to know joy. He had this rare magnetic ability to turn a gloomy day into a beautiful one. He could walk into a quiet room and suddenly there was energy, there was laughter. For a long time, I thought it was just his personality, but I learned it was actually a survivor's skill. For many of us on January 9th, it isn't just a date on the calendar, it's a line in the sand. There was this life before the mud and the life after. When the debris flow took him, the hardest part wasn't just the physical loss, it was the silence. It was the sudden absence of the ability to make things bright. I looked at the wreckage of my life, the grief, the shock, the emptiness, and I felt like I was standing in a whole lot of nothing. I am standing here today as a survivor, but also as someone who lost their other half. My late partner Peter was the kindest man I knew, a lover of life and the anchor of our home. When we speak about the debris flow, we often talk about the internal landscape. What happens when your world is washed away and you have to decide to keep standing. For a long time after 2018, I didn't feel resilient. I felt hollow, angry, and lost. Resilience wasn't a lightning bolt that struck me. It was a slow, quiet crawl. There is a misconception that being positive means ignoring the pain. I learned that true resilience requires looking directly at the loss and acknowledging how heavy it is. I miss Peter every single day. However, somewhere along the way, the shape of my grief changed. It stopped being an anchor that held me down and became a compass that guided me forward. That double rainbow became my compass. I began to realize that surviving wasn't enough. Peter would have wanted me to live my life to the fullest. In finding gratitude, I'm reminded of all the small joys in life has to offer: the sun rising, the sun setting, the company of friends, the quiet times on a hike, a walk on the beach, or just being alone with a cup of coffee. It is that realization, because I have lost so much, I now fear so little. It is the understanding that our community here in Montecito is bound together not just by tragedy, but by how we lifted each other up out of the mud. I used to think the debris flow took everything, but now I know it couldn't take the love I had for Peter or my capacity to hope for a better future. If there is a positive way to emerge from something this dark, it is this: we are softer now, more awake. We understand how fragile life is, which makes us hold on to it and each other ever so much tighter than before. In those early days, I struggled to find a way to breathe through the pain. Then I found comfort in a poem by Rumi called The Guest House. He writes that being human is like a guest house, and that we must welcome every emotion that arrives, even the painful ones. There is a specific passage that stopped me in my tracks. Rumi writes, "Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep you empty of your furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight." That was when I remembered my partner's gift. I realized I wanted to honor him, and I had to believe in that new delight. I had to look at something that was left, then I had to look at the nothing that was left and try to create something out of it. I know there are people just beginning this journey who are hearing this. Maybe you're recovering from a recent storms, fires, or new losses. The mud is still fresh for you. I want to speak to you directly. You might be looking at the wreckage of your home or your heart and thinking there is nothing here. But I am standing here to tell you that resilience is not about fixing what was broken. It's about building something entirely new right next to the brokenness you are currently in. The sweeping out phase is dark and it is heavy. I'm standing here years down the road as living proof that new delight does come. You will find a new rhythm. You will find a new laugh. You will not just survive, you will grow around it. So if you're looking for hope today, don't look for a timeline in which the pain disappears. Look for the ability to create something new. Peter could turn a gloomy room into a beautiful one just by being himself. He isn't here to do that anymore, so I'm asking you to help me pick up where he left off. Let us be the ones who bring the joy. Let us be the ones who look at the mud and see the flowers that will grow from it. As I say this, I'm reminded of a book a friend of mine, Kim Canton, wrote, Where Yellow Flowers Bloom, which inspired me to find ways to make room for the new delights. Let us take the space that has been created, clear it out, and fill it with a community that is kinder, stronger, and more alive than ever. Thank you, and wishing you all the best that life has to offer. Thank you.